All right, folks, we're going to finish up the episode today with a boss script. That music reminded me of the WandaVision show. Did you watch the WandaVision show, Alyssa?
I have not watched that yet. No, I can't say as I've gotten real enthusiastic about that. I know
I
that
mean,
it's probably a bummer again for you, but
all the things that I like, it doesn't seem like you like, and all the things that you like aren't necessary. But that's why this works, I think. We're not going to be talking Star
yin
Wars
and
and
yang.
Marvel very often, right? But that's okay. All right, so we've got a boss script for you today to use whenever an employee tells you that they are feeling something. And what brought this up for me was a conversation recently that mirrors a conversation I've had over and over again with leaders for years. When they tell me about an employee who is struggling with something and thinks that maybe they're being treated unfairly or that they are unhappy about circumstances, it is unfortunate that too often bosses want to say, well, that's not true. You shouldn't feel that way. I had a conversation recently with a terrific leader, an experienced leader, who didn't necessarily notice that that's what she was doing with one of her direct reports, who was also a manager, who was really upset about some reorganization and who felt like they had gotten the short end of the stick. And she had really been working with this person to try to say, that's not true. Here's why this isn't the way that you're seeing it. And what we ultimately decided was we had skipped a step. And the step was an acknowledgement of how this person was feeling. And this is such a simple thing, and that I think when leaders find that if they just insert this as a quick, short step into their response, it can transform how effective they are in the moment. And so your boss script for today, when someone comes to you and tells you that they're feeling sad, awful, offended, angry, bothered, is to simply respond at first by saying, that must feel awful. And then you wait. This is a coaching thing, right, Alyssa? You use something like this with your peeps?
all the feeling time. I refer to the feeling word as the F word because it honestly feels like such a bomb to a lot of folks that they don't want to touch, that they immediately go to exactly what you just said. They're going to go to all of the logical reasons why whatever is occurring for that person isn't the reality of what they are actually experiencing. And so you can't fight feeling with logic. Okay,
There's an REO Speedwagon song in there somewhere. I can't fight this feeling anymore. I mean,
I love
sorry,
it. I love
you
it.
triggered my 80s music fandom there.
But I feel like it is such a big thing for someone to come to you, and they might not even use the F word, the feeling word.
Right.
I feel like I have been, right? And so what you have to do is look for that. They're saying this is really unfair. There's no way that this could have occurred if they were actually looking at do, right? And you as the leader are then responsible to say, what I hear you saying is that you are experiencing feelings of. So it might be your job to also help them, figure out the F word, that what's the feeling there, because no matter the amount of logic that you're trying to apply to it, if they're in the feeling zone, it's not going to matter. So being able to name it and to allow them to feel it and not trying to condition it the heck out of them is really imperative to helping someone feel truly heard. It might not solve the problem. It might not solve the whole issue, but you're probably the amount of times that you're going to hear about it in the future is going to be drastically reduced.
Absolutely.
they feel truly heard from you.
And that's the magic bullet for earning trust and respect, isn't that you have the answer or you know how to explain away the bad feeling. It's that they really believe that you heard them. And so taking the words that they use and just giving it back to them. If somebody says, to use your example, it sounds like the people in administration didn't take a look at this or whatever, and just to be able to say, oh, so it feels like they didn't really pay attention to this for you, that must feel awful. And then we just wait. You know who's really good at this? Besides you as a coach, my wife is very good at this. And it's because she's a board-certified music therapist and has spent years working in long-term care. And she did a lot of study and training in validation therapies, so that these are particularly useful when you're working with people who have dementia and who can snap into some pretty strong feelings and memories. And so she's learned how to use some of these tools and techniques. And I was asking her about this in the run-up to this episode and giving this as a boss script. And I said, what's the most important thing for you? She says, I'm listening for how they frame it. And she said almost exactly what you said, because they may not talk about feelings. She might say, or the person might say, it sounds like this, or they're doing that. And so she said, you just use those same words right back at them. Oh, okay, so you think they're doing this, this, and this. That must feel awful. Or, boy, I bet that doesn't feel good. And so giving credit where credit was due, I want to also tell you what my wife told me, because I'm a big believer in, giving smart people a platform. So through me, my wife also told me, when it comes to this kind of approach, that a great second follow-up question is, have there ever been any other times when you felt this way? And how did you get through that? And so, and really you're setting up for this conversation about, okay, so what did you do the last time you felt that way, and how can that experience help you now? And so just feeling heard and giving people a picture that, yep, they felt this way before and they came through it, and maybe they can apply some of that learning this time around. Not only did you not have to have the answer in that moment as the boss, but you just demonstrated a depth of caring for that person by responding with, that must feel awful, and asking a question or two. Yeah. And that's going to get you where you want to go.
Oh, that is beautiful coaching right there. And you have an amazing wife, Jess. That was lots of gems. Thank you so much for bringing that.
Shout out to Jess. Absolutely.